At a Texas Army camp, raw recruits take their first steps on the long road to war. Dusty boots mark the cadence as farm boys and city kids alike learn to march as one. On the firing line, the lesson is precision. Steady hands, cool eyes, and a rifle that will soon be their closest companion. Under the
Audie Leon Murphy was born on June 20th, 1925, in Kingston, Texas, a small farming community in Hunt County. He was the seventh of 12 children born to sharecroppers Emmett and Josie Murphy. The family lived in profound poverty, moving frequently between small Texas towns as they searched for farming work that could sustain them. Murphy's childhood was marked by hardship that would shape the man he became. The family lived in a succession of dirt-floor sharecropper cabins. Food was often scarce. By the time Murphy was 10 years old, he was hunting rabbits and squirrels to help feed his younger siblings. His father abandoned the family in 1940, leaving Josie Murphy alone to care for the children. Murphy, still only 15, dropped out of school after 5th grade to work in the fields and help support his family. In 1941, Murphy's mother died. He was 16 years old. The younger children were placed in an orphanage while Murphy and his older siblings struggled to keep the family together. These experiences, poverty, hunger, the early loss of both parents, and the responsibility of caring for younger siblings created in Murphy a resilience and determination that would later manifest in extraordinary ways on the battlefield. When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, Audie Murphy was working as a farmhand, earning $1 per day. He was 16 years old, underweight, and stood 5 feet 5 inches tall. But he was determined to enlist. His older sister helped him falsify his birth certificate, adding a year to his age. In June 1942, Murphy attempted to join the Marines. They rejected him as too small. The Navy rejected him for the same reason. The Army paratroopers also turned him away. Finally, the regular Army infantry accepted him. On June 30th, 1942, 17-year-old Audie Murphy enlisted at Greenville, Texas. He weighed 112 pounds and stood barely over 5 feet tall. His commanding officers initially doubted whether he was physically capable of infantry combat. One officer suggested assigning him to cook duty. Murphy insisted on combat training. He wanted to fight, he wanted to prove himself, and he wanted to send money home to help his siblings. During basic training at Camp Walters, Murphy demonstrated exceptional aptitude. Despite his small stature, he excelled in marksmanship, physical endurance, and tactical thinking. His years of hunting small game in Texas had given him patience, steady hands, and the ability to shoot accurately under pressure. His drill instructors noted that Murphy absorbed training quickly and remained calm under stress. By the time he completed basic training, Murphy had earned the respect of instructors who had initially doubted him. In February 1943, Murphy was assigned to Company B, 1st Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division. This unit would see continuous combat for the next 2.5 years, fighting through North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, and Germany. Murphy shipped out for North Africa shortly after his assignment. He was 18 years old. He had never been more than 50 miles from his home in Texas, and he was about to enter one of the most brutal campaigns of the Second World War.
Chin up, soldier. Good. Carry on.
Go! Cover that side!
Moving.
Murphy, you got him?
Lining it up. Fire. Target down.
Smoke up ahead. Let's move.
Army, let's go. Keep it tight. Watch those windows.
We're pushing past the crater. Stay low.
Audie Murphy first saw combat in Sicily in July 1943. He was 18 years old. The 3rd Infantry Division landed near Licata as part of Operation Husky, the Allied invasion of Sicily. Murphy's first experience of combat was the chaos of an opposed beach landing. German artillery fire, the sounds of wounded men, the confusion of officers trying to organize units under fire. Murphy later recalled that his first combat experience was overwhelming. He had trained for months, but nothing in training prepared him for the psychological shock of actual combat. He saw friends killed within hours of landing. He experienced the physical exhaustion of carrying equipment through Sicilian summer heat. He learned that combat was not heroic or glorious, but terrifying, exhausting, and often senseless. But Murphy also discovered something about himself during those first days in Sicily. While other soldiers panicked or froze under fire, Murphy remained calm. His years of hunting had taught him patience and the ability to focus under stress. When his unit came under machine gun fire, Murphy was able to identify the enemy position, take careful aim, and return accurate fire while others dove for cover. His platoon sergeant noticed Murphy was a natural combat soldier. During the Sicilian campaign, Murphy killed his first enemy soldiers. He later described the experience in his autobiography, noting that he felt no particular emotion at the time, only the mechanical execution of his training. The man he killed was trying to kill him and his fellow soldiers. Murphy understood combat as survival. There was no room for hesitation or moral reflection in the moment. Those considerations would come later, in the quiet hours when memory returned. The Sicilian campaign lasted 38 days. Murphy's unit fought through mountainous terrain, capturing German strongpoints and clearing villages. Murphy was promoted to corporal. His commanders recognized that despite his youth and small stature, he was an exceptionally effective soldier. He followed orders precisely, he remained calm under fire, and he had an uncanny ability to spot enemy positions before they spotted him. His platoon sergeant noticed Murphy was a natural combat soldier. During the Italian campaign, Murphy's reputation as an exceptional soldier began to spread beyond his immediate unit. In one engagement, Murphy's squad was pinned down by German machine gun fire. Murphy crawled forward alone, identified the machine gun position, and destroyed it with hand grenades, allowing his squad to advance. He received his first decoration for valor, the Bronze Star Medal, for this action. It would be the first of many.
For gallantry in action, 5th Army, Italy. Bronze Star Medal is awarded to Sergeant Murphy.
Well done. Way to go, Murph. Nobody deserved it more.
Get down out there. Carry on, Sergeant.
Back to the grind, huh? We'll see you, chow.
Right flank! Push up! Move in! Lay down fire! Grenade out! On my signal! Now! Go! Covering! Keep pressure on them! Forward!
In January 1944, Murphy's unit participated in Operation Shingle, the Allied amphibious landing at Anzio, Italy. The operation was intended to outflank German defensive positions and accelerate the Allied advance toward Rome. Instead, it became a brutal 4-month stalemate. German forces surrounded the Allied beachhead, subjecting it to constant artillery fire and repeated counterattacks. Murphy fought at Anzio for the entire 4-month campaign. The conditions were among the worst of the war. Soldiers lived in muddy foxholes, subjected to near-constant German artillery fire. There was no front line in the traditional sense. German positions surrounded the beachhead on 3 sides. Soldiers could not leave their foxholes during daylight without risking sniper fire. Murphy later described Anzio as the closest he came to psychological breakdown. In January 1944, Murphy's unit participated in Operation Shingle, the Allied amphibious landing at Anzio, Italy. The operation was intended to outflank German defensive positions and accelerate the Allied advance toward Rome. Instead, it became a brutal 4-month stalemate. German forces surrounded the Allied beachhead, subjecting it to constant artillery fire and repeated counterattacks. Murphy fought at Anzio for the entire 4-month campaign. The conditions were among the worst of the war. Soldiers lived in muddy foxholes, subjected to near constant German artillery fire. There was no front line in the traditional sense. German positions surrounded the beachhead on 3 sides. Soldiers could not leave their foxholes during daylight without risking sniper fire. Murphy later described Anzio as the closest he came to psychological breakdown during the war. But even in these conditions, Murphy continued to distinguish himself. On one occasion, German forces launched a night attack on Murphy's position. In the darkness and confusion, Murphy's squad leader was killed. Murphy assumed command of the squad, organized a defense, and repelled the attack. He was promoted to sergeant at age 19. His leadership under fire was becoming legendary within the 3rd Infantry Division. In May 1944, Allied forces finally broke out from Anzio. Murphy's unit participated in the advance toward Rome. During this period, Murphy's combat effectiveness reached levels that astounded his commanders. In one 24-hour period during the breakout, Murphy and his squad eliminated an estimated 30 German soldiers, destroyed 2 machine gun positions, and captured several prisoners. Murphy was recommended for the Silver Star, the 3rd highest military decoration for valor. After the capture of Rome in June 1944, Murphy's unit was withdrawn from Italy and sent to prepare for Operation Dragoon, the Allied invasion of southern France. Murphy was now a staff sergeant commanding a platoon. He was 19 years old. He had been in continuous combat for over a year, and his most extraordinary actions were still ahead of him. Operation Dragoon began on August 15, 1944. Murphy's unit landed near Saint-Tropez and advanced rapidly through southern France. German resistance was lighter than in Italy, and the 3rd Infantry Division made significant advances. Murphy continued to demonstrate exceptional leadership and combat skill. On August 18th, near the town of Ramatuelle, Murphy's platoon was ambushed by German forces. Murphy personally destroyed 2 German machine gun nests, allowing his platoon to break contact. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the 2nd highest military decoration for this action. As Murphy's unit advanced through France in late summer 1944, his reputation grew. He was promoted to 2nd lieutenant in October, receiving a battlefield commission and extraordinary honor for a 19-year-old who had entered the Army 2 years earlier as a private. Murphy was now a platoon leader in Company B, 15th Infantry Regiment. He commanded men older and more experienced than himself, but none questioned his authority. Murphy had proven himself in combat repeatedly. His men trusted him because he led from the front and never asked them to do anything he wouldn't do himself. By October 1944, Murphy had already earned numerous decorations and was recognized as one of the most effective combat leaders in the 3rd Infantry Division. But his most famous action, the one that would earn him the Medal of Honor and cement his place in military history, was still 2 months away.
Raise your right hand, soldier.
Yes, sir.
I state your name.
I, Audie Murphy.
Having been appointed as 2nd Lieutenant in the Army of the United States, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies.
Get that belt in! Fire mission! Drop 50! Fire for effect! They're breaking! Keep it coming!
On January 26, 1945, near the small French village of Holtzwihr in the Colmar Pocket region of Alsace,
Second Lieutenant Audie Murphy performed the action that would earn him the Medal of Honor and define his legacy as one of history's most decorated soldiers. Murphy's Company B had been ordered to defend a position along a wooded area near Holtzwihr. The company was significantly under strength, approximately 40 men instead of the normal 160 due to previous combat losses. German forces had launched a major counterattack in the area using infantry supported by tanks. Murphy's position was directly in the path of this attack. The attack began around 2 p.m. German infantry, estimated at over 200 soldiers, advanced toward Murphy's position, supported by 6 tanks. The situation deteriorated rapidly. German artillery fire forced Murphy's men to take cover. 2 American tank destroyers that had been supporting Murphy's position were hit by German fire. One was completely destroyed. The other, an M10 tank destroyer, was set ablaze but remained partially functional. Murphy ordered his men to fall back to defensive positions in the woods. As his men withdrew, Murphy remained forward to direct artillery fire by radio. He was completely exposed to German fire. When the German infantry closed to within 50 yards, Murphy made a decision that seemed suicidal but proved decisive. He climbed onto the burning M10 tank destroyer and took control of its .50 caliber machine gun. The tank destroyer was still burning. It could explode at any moment. German soldiers were advancing directly toward his position. Murphy was alone, completely exposed with no cover, but from the tank destroyer's position, he had a clear field of fire. For the next hour, Murphy single-handedly held off the German attack. He fired the .50 caliber machine gun continuously, mowing down advancing German infantry. When German soldiers tried to flank his position, Murphy directed artillery fire via his field telephone while simultaneously operating the machine gun. He was wounded in the leg by German fire, but continued fighting. The official Medal of Honor citation would later state that Murphy killed or wounded approximately 50 German soldiers during this action. German forces, unable to advance against Murphy's devastating fire, eventually withdrew. When Murphy finally climbed down from the burning M10 tank destroyer, he was out of ammunition. The tank destroyer exploded shortly after he left it. Murphy then organized a counterattack with his remaining men, pushing German forces back and recapturing the original defensive position. The action lasted approximately 2 hours total. Murphy had held a critical position against overwhelming enemy force, preventing a potential breakthrough that could have endangered the entire American line. The recommendation for the Medal of Honor was immediate. Murphy's battalion commander witnessed the action and understood its significance. On June 2, 1945, at a ceremony near Salzburg, Austria, 7th Army Commander Lieutenant General Alexander Patch presented Murphy with the Medal of Honor. Murphy was 20 years old. He had been in combat for 23 months, and he had become the most decorated American soldier of World War II.
Easy, Lieutenant. Hold still. Pressure's working.
Forget the stretcher. Wrap it tight. I'm staying here.
Sir, you can't walk on...
I said no stretcher.
The crowd's hit you with what, 100? You held them here alone?
They kept coming. I kept the gun hot till it burned out. The boys flanked them once they broke.
Hell of a stand, Lieutenant.
Enemy Kia stretches clear to the woods,
Check them
sir.
for...
Corporal Murphy, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of your life above and beyond the call of duty, the President of the United States awards you the Medal of Honor. Wear it with pride.
By the end of World War II, In May 1945, Audie Murphy had accumulated a record of military decorations that remains unmatched by any other American soldier in history. He received every combat decoration for valor available from the United States Army, as well as several decorations from France and Belgium. Murphy's full list of decorations includes the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Star Medals, the Legion of Merit, 2 Bronze Star Medals with V device for valor, 2 Purple Hearts for wounds received in combat, the Army Good Conduct Medal, and numerous campaign and service medals. He also received the French Legion of Honor, the French Croix-Guerre with Palm, and the Belgian Croix-Guerre. Beyond the decorations, Murphy's combat record was extraordinary by any measure. He participated in campaigns across North Africa, Sicily, Italy, France, and Germany. He fought in 9 major campaigns over 27 months of nearly continuous combat. Official records credit him with killing or wounding approximately 240 enemy soldiers, though the exact number is impossible to verify with certainty. He destroyed 6 enemy tanks or tank destroyers and numerous machine gun positions. Murphy was wounded 3 times during the war. The first wound occurred in Sicily when he was hit by shrapnel. The second occurred in France when he was shot in the hip. The third was the leg wound at Holtzwihr. Each time Murphy returned to duty as soon as medically cleared, refusing opportunities for extended recovery or assignment to non-combat roles. What made Murphy's record even more remarkable was his age. He was 20 years old when the war ended. He had accomplished more in less than 3 years of military service than most soldiers achieve in entire careers. And he had done so while leading men older and more experienced than himself, earning their respect and loyalty through demonstrated courage and competence. But the decorations and statistics don't fully capture who Murphy was as a soldier. Those who served with him consistently described him as calm under fire, decisive in critical moments, and unwilling to ask his men to take risks he wouldn't take himself. He led from the front, he shared his men's hardships, and he never used his growing fame within the Army to seek easier assignments or special treatment. Murphy also developed a reputation for something unusual in combat soldiers. He was known for taking prisoners when possible, and for treating captured enemy soldiers humanely. In his autobiography, Murphy reflected on the moral complexity of killing. He understood that the German soldiers he fought against were often young men like himself, caught up in a war not of their choosing. This perspective, maintaining humanity even while conducting lethal combat operations, was part of what made Murphy extraordinary. When the war in Europe ended in May 1945, Murphy's unit was preparing for redeployment to the Pacific Theater for the invasion of Japan. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 brought the war to an end before that redeployment occurred. Murphy was honorably discharged from the Army on September 21, 1945. He was 20 years old. He had spent 3 years and 3 months in military service,
27 months of that time in continuous combat. Murphy returned to the United States as a national hero. His story had been publicized during the final months of the war. Life magazine featured him on its cover in July 1945, calling him America's most decorated soldier. But Murphy struggled with the transition to civilian life. The skills that made him an exceptional combat soldier, the ability to make split-second life and death decisions, the hyper-awareness of danger, the capacity for controlled violence, did not translate easily to peacetime society.
September 1945. Another transport steams into an American harbor, home from war. Among the returning veterans, Lieutenant Murphy, winner of the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, and more. The nation knows his name.
When the war ended, Audie Murphy shouldered a new role on the silver screen. The quiet Texan who once led men through fire now played stoic heroes in Hollywood westerns. Off camera, he spoke for veterans, using fame to fight for those who served beside him. In 1971,
the story of Audie Murphy did not end with World War II, though in many ways the war never ended for Murphy. Like many combat veterans, he struggled with what we now recognize as post-traumatic stress disorder, though in 1945 that diagnosis did not exist. Murphy experienced nightmares, insomnia, hypervigilance, and difficulty forming emotional connections. These symptoms would persist throughout his life. Murphy's post-war career took an unexpected turn. While visiting Hollywood to explore possibilities for a film about his life, he was noticed by actor James Cagney, who encouraged Murphy to consider acting. Murphy had no formal training, but his natural presence and the public's interest in his war record made him a marketable commodity. Between 1948 and 1969, Murphy appeared in 44 films, mostly westerns and war movies. In 1949, Murphy published his autobiography, To Hell and Back, which became a bestseller. The book was remarkable for its honest depiction of combat's psychological toll. Murphy didn't glorify war or present himself as a superhero. He described fear, exhaustion, moral ambiguity, and the weight of killing. The book's honesty resonated with veterans who recognized their own experiences in Murphy's words. In 1955, Murphy starred in the film adaptation of To Hell and Back, playing himself. The film was a major commercial success and introduced Murphy's story to a new generation. But Murphy himself was conflicted about his fame. He rarely discussed his war experiences publicly and discouraged hero worship. He insisted he was simply a soldier who did his duty, no more or less than thousands of others. Throughout his post-war life, Murphy advocated for veterans' issues, particularly the treatment of combat stress. He spoke publicly about his own struggles with nightmares and anxiety, helping to reduce the stigma around mental health issues for combat veterans. His willingness to discuss these problems was ahead of its time and helped to pave the way for better understanding and treatment of post-traumatic stress. Murphy's personal life was complicated. He married twice and had 2 sons. He struggled with gambling and occasional financial difficulties. He had trouble maintaining steady employment outside of acting. These challenges were, in many ways, manifestations of the difficulty combat veterans face in readjusting to civilian life, difficulties that persist to this day. On May 28, 1971, Audie Murphy died in a plane crash near Roanoke, Virginia. He was 45 years old. He was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery on June 7, 1971. His funeral was attended by hundreds of veterans and military officials. He was buried in one of the most visited grave sites at Arlington, a testament to his enduring legacy. Murphy's legacy extends far beyond his individual achievements. He represents both the heroism and the cost of war. His story demonstrates that extraordinary courage can come from unexpected places, that a poor farm boy from Texas with a 5th grade education
can become the most decorated soldier in American military history. But his story also illustrates the lasting psychological wounds that combat inflicts, wounds that medals and fame cannot heal. The specific numbers, 240 enemy combatants killed, 50 Germans killed in a single action, every valor decoration earned, are impressive statistics, but they don't fully capture who Audie Murphy was. He was a young man who enlisted to support his family, who proved himself in the most demanding circumstances imaginable, who led men with courage and competence, and then who spent the rest of his life trying to make sense of what he had experienced and done. Murphy's story resonates because it is fundamentally human. He was not a superhero or a propaganda figure. He was a person who, when placed in extraordinary circumstances, performed extraordinarily. He faced fear and continued anyway. He made split-second decisions that meant life or death for himself and others. He carried the weight of those decisions for the rest of his life. Today, Audie Murphy is remembered not just as America's most decorated World War II soldier, but as a symbol of both military valor and complexity of the warrior journey. His grave at Arlington receives more visitors than almost any other, with Americans leaving flowers, flags, and notes of thanks. His story has been told in books, films, and documentaries for generations.
Here among thousands, one name reminds us of all: Audie Murphy, soldier, citizen, and the most decorated combat veteran of World War II.